Hi, I'm Jamal LaChapelle. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about a personal experience that I had dealing with when I was 20 years old. It started 36 years old now. Um, it's one of those things that you'll never forget. I can remember where I was at, who was with me, and everything. But I remember this night that I remember we went to Wendy's, and I remember I had some French fries and probably like the double stack or something. And I remember immediately throwing up my French fries. And the only thing I can remember is that I had drank some old bottle of E&J that night, and I don't know how old it was, a couple months or whatever. Anyway, the next day I went to work and there was a potluck at work. I remember there was Chinese food they had, like Lian Chin's or something. And I remember I didn't have much of an appetite, but it was lunchtime, so you gotta eat lunch. So I kind of forced it down. And the whole time after I ate it, I felt uncomfortable feeling in my stomach, like the food wasn't sitting right. And I remember like rushing in the bathroom like a half hour after I ate lunch and then throw it up. From that moment on, life ain't never been the same for me. I was never able to eat food or hold food down or even have an appetite without smoking marijuana. Back then, I used to smoke marijuana a lot, but that had nothing to do with what caused whatever was going on with my stomach. I remember going to different doctors and hospitals and like the GI clinic, and where he just scoped out my stomach and looked at everything, and they had nothing for me. He couldn't tell me nothing. Or I told the doctor that the only way I was able to eat food or keep food down was when I smoked marijuana. And they look at you like crazy when you tell them something like that. So I just went along, did my normal everyday thing because I had to eat. I remember taking a vacation with the family to the Bahamas, and I remember losing a lot of weight on that vacation because I didn't have marijuana with me. But I remember when we poured it in Nassau, I hopped in a cab driver alone, went on an adventure, and it got me some weed, and I was able to eat for a couple days, but that ran out. So then back to enjoying the cruise. I remember we went back to Florida after the cruise, and I remember I was real sick when we got back, and I had checked myself into the Florida hospital. And I remember I was just in the waiting room, just dry heaving in a garbage can, just on the ground right in front of it. I was just real sick. I couldn't eat anything, and I couldn't, and nothing was coming out, just stomach acids. And I remember when they had admitted me to a room, I don't know what they gave me, an IV, whatever. That's when I found out I was allergic to compazine. I remember that, which is an antipsychotic. I didn't do nothing for me, but I remember my mom, she had came to my room and mentioned that they had an x-ray on my door, with my name on it. I said, I never went and took no x-ray, and it just shows how, these hospitals and doctors or whatever, you don't know what they're doing to you, like the fact that you got somebody else's x-ray on my door, and it's just crazy. So I remember, I had to catch an early flight home. I remember just rocking back and forth because I was just so uncomfortable. I just felt so sick, and I just couldn't wait to get home because I had my medication, what I called it back then. But that whatever was the matter with my stomach, it lasted 10 years of my life. It wasn't up until I was 30 years old to where I started getting better and I started, eating more healthier and changing what I put in my body. And I thought it had something to do with the Activia yogurt, because I don't know, it had something written on it that I thought it was helping me. But I remember when I did get better, I stopped smoking marijuana, because I didn't want to be dependent on it like I was for 10 years. So I stopped smoking, for quite some time. And this just brings me to like all these hospitals and doctors, clinics, and they're not really out here to help us, you know. The people that go to school to help people, you know, to heal people, and they're there for the right reason. But when they actually get the job, and you know they got a paycheck and they're buy a house and everything's on the line, if they don't do what they're told, they lose all that, you know. So it's kind of a control thing that they have over you, you know, and it's hard to speak out and do what's right other than what you're told to do. So, I mean, I even had experience with my job once. You know, I was that whole 10 years I was sick. I was a cable guy. I was a satellite installer. And I remember one day I was drilling in the side of somebody's house. And I hit their gas main. And it was just a teeny little hole, like a pin-sized hole, just hissing gas out, you know. And I tried to cover it up with some putty or something. And I remember that whole night that I couldn't sleep at night. I literally couldn't sleep at night. And I told my boss in the morning, I told him what I did, and he laughed at me. I mean, he thought it was funny because how I was reacting, and I wanted to get it fixed. You know, I couldn't sleep at night, you know. My conscience was eating at me. So the funny thing was that story was they were fixing the meters, or they were replacing the meters in that neighborhood that week. So, you know, I didn't have to pay for anything. So it was a blessing. You know, everything happens for a reason, you know, but it was a teach me a lesson, you know, that don't let that slide like that. Because my whole thing, I worried, like, why didn't I explode when I hit it with my drill bit? You know, why didn't somebody could be out there with a cigarette and light it next to it or something and spark and explode? You know, it had me worried so much I couldn't sleep. So I had to fix it, you know. And now I deal with all types of stuff, you know, going to the doctor and they're always telling you one thing. Like my 18-month-old son, we seen these bumps that were just happening all over his leg and his body, and I thought it was chicken pox, you know. My other son, he ain't had it yet, you know. So we brought him in, and he was like, oh, it's not chicken pox, it's something, you know, a lot of kids this age get it, you know. And they prescribed us a antibiotic, you know. I'm not knowing much about antibiotics, you know. And I remember asking the doctor, is there something natural that we can use instead of the prescription drug? And he said, all I know is what they taught me in school, you know. And I was like, well, what would you do? You know, he said, well, if it was my son, I would give him the antibiotic. Okay. I didn't sit well with that, you know. You went to school to do this, and they taught you that, but they don't teach you everything. So immediately after I left the hospital, I Googled what it was that he had and looked for natural cures for it, you know. And lo and behold, it was apple cider vinegar. And, you know, they wanted him to have him on antibiotics and told him it'd be months to a year he'd be like that, you know. But 2 weeks later, he was healed. His skin is brand new, you know. And I did that on my own, you know. The information that everybody needs or wants, it's out there, but people they don't have time to look because of how this world is designed for everybody. We work 40 hours a week, you know, and we got this little piece of time left. You know, we got 2 days for the weekend to enjoy for our free time, and, you know, nobody's thinking about educating themselves on food or anything or information. They want to go kick it or whatever, you know. So I got lucky, you know, in the career that I got now. I work in construction and I live in Minnesota, so it's seasonal. So I get like 5-6 months out of the year. I do absolutely nothing but watch my kids. But I took that time and I started educating myself on information, on food, you know. And my dad had recently had a stroke, 3 of them, you know, and I became obsessed with finding a cure for blood clot, natural, not those drugs that they were giving him in the hospital. I watched them feed him the sugar, this, and all the stuff that was bad, you know, and here I am walking in the hospital with all this good, healthy stuff to give to him. I remember one of the nurses made a little comment because she overheard me talking to him about it, mocking me, But it just shows you that they really don't care about you. You're nothing but a customer to them, like, sell them drugs. Here I am smoking illegal, what they call drugs. It was a plant, it was a vegetable. It's no different than any other vegetable that provides nutrients and all that. But I was really medicating myself for whatever I was eating and the toxic food that I was eating, the GMOs, the poisons, the pesticides, and all that mess. I was medicating myself with marijuana, and I didn't even know it, but I called it my medication. But now I feel the need to, whenever I learn some information about food, to spread it out to other people around me, friends, family, people who I don't even know. I don't get nothing. I'm not getting, this isn't a job. I do this because I enjoy it, it means more to me, and I watch all the stuff that's going on in the world, you know. I don't really like it, I just want to do something about it, I just want to spread the information to people so they can, take with it and do whatever they want with it, 'cause not everybody has time, I understand that. I just got lucky in, the job that I'm in. I just wish, I don't think anybody should have to go through like what I went through or stuff other people go through, because I've never had cancer or, all these other diseases out here. People are dying every day. I feel bad about it, and what they don't understand is it's in the food that we eat. The air, the water, it's all toxic. It's poisonous. We gotta know what we're eating, and we don't know what we're eating. It's been processed so much. It's not like hundreds of years ago we were growing our own. We had our own plot of land, and we would grow our own food, and we would cook it. We didn't have to work a job. We would have some product or something we created to sell. Maybe I farmed cows and sold milk or traded milk, and that's what helped me pay for whatever. It's not like that no more. Everything is corporate, and it's about stocks and money isn't everything. People think money is just everything. You just want more of it. I don't want no money. I just want a piece of land. I want a home, and I want to grow a garden full of food to feed my family, because what else do you need once you got food and shelter, good clean air to breathe? If our government and really did care about us, we wouldn't be living the way we're living. We don't have time to investigate stuff. We don't have time to cook a nice, wholesome, healthy meal. Everything is fast because they only leave this much time for us, enough time to stop at Wendy's and grab you a 99 cent. And it's cheap. It's nice and affordable, quick and cheap. So who wouldn't want to get that 99 cent double stack or Biggie Fry or whatever they call it? It's been so long. It's just the way it's all designed, you got microwave. Heat your food up like this. It's fast, but it's got radiation in it. It's not good for you, cancer. Use radiation and chemo. It's not good. When I found out that antibiotics, they kill the bacteria in your body, all the bacteria, the good bacteria that you need. It's like, why are they prescribing? It's just like the chemo and all that. It just kills everything in your body. You lose your hair, Who wants to go through that? But that's the way they make their money. There's so many cures on food, but we put the bad foods in our body that make us sick. We got to stop doing that, And it's hard because we're not in control of our own bodies. It's like once you've been exposed, and most of us are exposed as children because our parents feed it to us. They don't know no better because their parents fed it to them, and society changed, and this is the newest this and that, and And we just grew up with these parasites sucking the energy and controlling our thoughts. You ever ate something sweet and just wanted more and keep eating and keep eating it, and just know in your mind that it's not good for you, why I keep eating this? You're not in control. You have parasites controlling you, just telling you more. It's good. Give me some more. It's not good. But when you do cleanse your body and you stop putting certain things in your body, you start noticing some changes. You start noticing you have more control over your body, over your mind, over your whole everything, and it makes it easier. But to get to that level, it doesn't happen overnight. You gotta learn some type of self-control. You gotta set guidelines for yourself. Like, I'm not gonna do this. When I first started doing it, I first stopped just purchasing certain items and bringing it into my house, because it was like anytime it got brought into my house, I'd want to eat it. But it's like if you locked yourself in prison, or you went to prison, you cut off access from certain things. You kind of got to do that to yourself. You got to have self-control when you're at the grocery store. Just don't purchase it. Just don't bring it home. And you get better at it. And things inside you start to change. It's not only you look healthier, but you feel healthier, and then your whole spirit changes, and the way you feel changes. And it's very important. They keep us distracted. Everything's a distraction. The news, the media, you're watching the NFL football, all that mess. It's just like, don't worry about that stuff. That's not what's important in life. People are important in life. We all live on this planet, but we act greedy. Everybody's worried. Not everybody. When I say that, I don't mean every single person, but for the most part, people are out for themselves, and everybody wants to be rich. Like, money is the key to happiness, but most rich people aren't happy at all. So just be happy with what you got, and just eat healthy and take care of yourselves, and you will see some changes, I guarantee you. I've seen a lot of changes. My wife's seen a lot of changes, my kids, It's another thing. When I found out my son was diagnosed with autism, when he was like 3 years old, I remember when he wasn't autistic. I remember when he talked. I remember when he used to have eye contact. I remember all that. I just bumped into a recent video that I posted like years ago. He must have been about 18 months. Looking right in my eye, playing, saying, "Dad, dad, 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 mom, 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 mom." It's not like that no more. He's looking and smiling. He's not like that no more. And everybody's hung up on vaccines, like, oh, they're good for you, there's nothing wrong with it. It was hard to tell that to somebody who's experienced it. And these kids that are dying, and parents notice changes in their kids. It's like, how do you explain that to somebody who's experienced it? Not because everybody has an experience doesn't mean it's not true. Not everybody's allergic to gluten. Not everybody's allergic to pollen. All our bodies are different. We all have different reactions to things. So you can't count something out because it didn't happen to you. Because it could be you that it happens to next time. So I've just been trying to spread information on food to the world, because the way to change the world is in the food we eat. I really do believe that. All the food we eat, just keep that in mind and take care of your health, okay? Thank you.